All right, welcome to part one. This is a new series I'm going to be starting where we go over everything I did to turbo my E36. We're also going to be doing a walk around. It is already done. I do have it turboed. It runs, it starts. I just forgot to record a lot of it. So we're going to be going back over that and I'm going to go in depth with everything. So no worries there. So first things first, we'll cover the turbo, what turbo I chose, why I chose it. Some of these might be clumped up into one group. Just to make it faster, because talking about the turbos is going to take 30 minutes. It'll be quick, it'll be short. So another thing is engine. We'll be going over what I did to get the engine ready for boost. Another thing is exhaust. Exhaust is where I differentiated myself. I went ahead and I built a turbo manifold for this car, which was a lot of fun. It took me about a month to do, but I'll show you guys how I did it. I'll take you through it. I also built the whole exhaust myself, so that'll be fun. I'll talk about that too. I'll also talk about like the pie cuts that I did. Another thing is intake. I built the intercooler piping myself, and I'll go through everything that I chose for that as well. There's a lot of bolt-on parts too, so it's a combination of both. Oh, I got my notes here, by the way, if you see me looking down a lot. Another thing is the ECU. I went with a Speeduino. Pretty much I built the ECU myself. From the ground up. I had to order the motherboard from China, and I had to buy all the parts and assemble it myself, so that'd be pretty cool talking about that. And another thing is fuel system. We'll be going over the fuel system, what kind of fuel pump I chose, injectors. I'll also be talking about the ignition system. That one's pretty simple, didn't do much besides replace the spark plugs, but we'll cover that too. Oil and cooling. For that, I had to lower the oil pan, and I actually had to drill out a hole and weld on a bung so I can get the oil line down from the turbo back into the engine. So I'll go over how I did that. Tuning aspect. So since I did build my own ECU, I had to tune it myself, which was a lot of fun because that also took me a long time to learn. I've never tuned a car before, but I learned a hell of a lot. And if you guys decide to ever do something like that, it's a good learning experience. Or something quick I'll go over is the transmission swap. So this car still has the original Getrag transmission. It's just a weaker version that came with a lot of the smaller displacement engines. So the 2.5 liter came with it. The 4-cylinder came with it. And I do have the new transmission here. It's a ZF transmission that came with an M3 with a 328s. It's just a lot beefier. I have it, but I haven't actually done the swap. So that'll be pretty cool. Once I have all the parts for that, I'll make a video about it, and we'll probably be caught up by then. So yeah, this is pretty much going to be a series build. Since it's already done, I can't show you guys, the whole process of me building it, which kind of sucks, but I'm going to be doing a lot more of this as we go along. I'm pretty much going to be catching you guys up to where I'm at now, so then from there we can start doing some more things where I actually take stuff apart and put things back together and build stuff, fabricate stuff. I have some experience welding. That's one thing you definitely need for this build. You need a TIG welder for sure. But yeah, we're gonna be catching up to where I'm at now. Before we get to the walk around, I'm gonna go over some quick disclaimers. Just some things you guys should know before we get into it. My car isn't fully tested. It starts and runs. I have a previous video where I show it starting up and revving it up. Because I live in California, this car for sure is not smog legal. I'm not gonna be able to get it registered, so I can't get it out on the street. But we're gonna be taking it to the track soon, so I'll make a video about that, and we'll get to really tune it and test it out. I'm gonna have to bring my laptop, all that. Yeah, that'll be interesting. And as I stated previously, this is not a bolt-on build. This is not a bolt-on build, which I think is good. You definitely need to learn some stuff, like especially welding, fabricating. I love that stuff, so it's really cool. When I first did it, I had to learn a lot, but now that I know that stuff, it just makes future projects that much easier. You don't have to worry about buying things when you can just build it yourself and make it. So I'm showing you guys the final product right now, but this took me a lot of time and a lot more money than I thought it would. Originally, I thought it was only going to be like $2,000, but to be honest, I haven't really counted how much it costs, only because I don't want to know. But I'm pretty sure it ended up being between $2,000 to $5,000. It was quite a bit amount of money. That's why it actually took me about a year to get it done, only because I had to save up for it. But if you save up the right amount of money, it won't be a problem. Definitely, whatever you think it's going to be, double it. And yeah, let's go over a quick walk around in the car and I'll show you guys what's going on with it. Alright, this is the engine bay. That's what the engine bay looks like. As you can see, you got the intercooler piping right there. All welded up. I installed this too. This is the catch can. As you can see, I just mounted it up right here. The catch can is actually really hard to find a mounting location for it. As you can see, it just barely fits. Yeah, I got the AN lines that run to it. Some things to note: the big turbo right there. Yeah, it actually doesn't fit under the hood. I had to cut it out, but it's pretty cool the way I have it mounted. The wastegate just comes out right there at the front with the dump tube coming up, and when you close it, you can see, bam, just sticks out a little bit, just barely. That wastegate's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, so here's the exhaust that goes to the back. This was actually really difficult to make. Yeah, it's a snug fit for sure. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually a pain to take it out. I mean, it'll work for now. I don't plan on taking it apart, but if I ever do, it's such a tight fit that you have to, like, I don't know, it's like Tetris trying to get it out. You have to hit just the right angle and it pops out. It's kind of a pain. There's the O2 sensor. It just goes straight to the ECU. I don't know if you can see it down there. See if I can get the GoPro in there. Hard to see, but that's the turbo manifold that I actually built. It's a 6-into-1. See if you can see the collector. You can't really see it. It's the thing, right? It's so damn hidden behind all that bullshit. But yeah, it's instead of it being just like a log style manifold, it's actually 6 individual runners that come up into one collector. It was super hard to get it to fit because there's absolutely no room down there. I don't even know how I did it. It took me a lot of different iterations. I had to take it apart, fit it up to the car, see if it fit, and then most of the time it wouldn't fit, so I'd have to take it back apart and put it together again. It took, like, I don't know, probably about 50 times till I got it down. Yeah, it just barely fits, but it's done now, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's something different, that's for sure. Gotta do something different with your builds, you know? Can't be the same as everybody else. Oh, one funny thing about this car too is I actually wasn't gonna turbo it initially. If you look over there, I actually have a V8. I actually ended up getting this free from a buddy. It's a small block 350. It's not LS. But once I take it apart, it's just a lot of junk in the oil pan, a lot of gunk. You could tell this engine is super old. I was thinking about just not using this engine specifically, but actually going with an LS. An LS build would have been pretty cool. They're just super expensive. It's not the engine itself. The engine is actually the cheapest part. It's everything around it. Yeah, that's another actually benefit of turboing this car with this engine specifically is kind of the whole reason why I turboed it and why I went with the inline 6 instead of with an LS swap. If this engine blows up, I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, it sucks. I'd have to pull it out. All this stuff is not fun to take out. But the thing is, it's only what, like $200, 300 max, $500 for a new engine. Beauty of this is even if the engine blows up, it's still relatively cheap to swap in a new one and send it again. All right, here's one cool part of the build. This bad boy right here. This is actually just a standard Android tablet. It's not the tablet itself, it's more so like the software. It's called MS Droid. With it, I'm able to speak with the Speedwino, and it'll show me all the data that it sees. So just for an example here, you can see I have the air fuel ratio gauge, the boost gauge, I got the battery voltage, I got air temperature, coolant temperature, and right there at the bottom right, it lets me know if it's actually synced with the ECU. But you have to start it up for that. Another cool part is I actually have it on Velcro. The screws itself is kind of sketchy, but it's sturdy enough, and just use a piece of sheet metal and screwed it in there. But one really cool part with this tablet is not only can you see the gauges and it connects to the ECU, but you could actually tune with it. This is Ignition Advanced, so you can actually tune the car with it, which I'm not saying I'm gonna be using this all the time, but it's just kind of cool if you're at the track and you need to make some kind of small slight modifications. It doesn't do everything that you can do on the on a laptop, but it does a lot. Just put it back on with the Velcro, and there you go. It's not really gonna go anywhere. It's kind of hard to take it off, so hopefully it doesn't go flying on an impact. But yeah, just something cool part of the build. All right guys, to wrap this up, I'm really excited about this series and future videos we're going to be making here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, let's have fun with it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.